Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, here from the United States. However, the Airbus is sitting on the ground in Austria. We're at Innsbruck to be exact, and we're preparing to fly a flight over to Paris Orly. Um, just looking at a couple of things not seeming to want to work today, and I'm trying to figure out why. So bear with me a second here. But we'll get things rolling here momentarily. So let me see if doing that helps. I don't know why they would be... really weird. They were working for the intro, but now they decided they want to have a mind of their own. Gotta love them. We're going to try one more time. So, well, with that in mind, we'll just keep it in the back of our mind what's going on here with our audio. If it's too low, let me know over there, guys, in the chat box. I see that we've had a interesting blow up here of the want to become famous folks that make me want to buy viewers. Sorry, I don't do that. If you like the channel, you'll follow it. If you don't, you won't. Simple as that. So let me go ahead and put us back pretty close to where we were. I'm always nervous we're blowing you out. Okay, so we'll go with that for now and see how things are going. For the flight, I'm going to go ahead and put back in the chat box here the route. That way you all have an idea what we're flying. It's basically a departure out of, we're going to be flying off of runway 8 on the KPT 5J out to KPT and then follow the route to DLJ and then the arrival. So with that, let's get up into the cockpit. And right now, we're going to go ahead and power up the aircraft. So what we've got started here, we have the ground power unit on, chocks on. As you saw outside the stairs, the doors are open, and the baggage conveyors are hooked up. So we'll be ready to start loading here momentarily. But before we do the pre-flight, what I want to do is go through the preliminary cockpit, get this thing powered up, then we'll go. So first thing on that check is to make sure your thrust is idled, your engine masters are off, and that's these two. The selector is in normal, and that's 12 o'clock. Then make sure your parking brake, that also shows on, and it's on when its parking brake is facing 12 o'clock. Okay, make sure your flaps are down. They are here. However, for some weird reason, my spoilers are always half up. I don't get it. Then we want to come up a little. The gear, which is the handle right here, is down. And then check the wipers. Now, one quick check. I've told a lot, most every stream I've done so far with the Airbus, which is about a half a dozen to a dozen or so now. If you don't see your 3 green lights, your batteries are off. Okay, so moving up to the top panel, our 2 wiper buttons here and here are off. And that, folks, concludes the preliminary cockpit preparation. So now let's move on to powering up the aircraft, and it's only a couple steps, folks. We're going to click battery number 1. That'll bring battery number 2's off light on. clicking battery 2, we're going to see some lights light up. These will flash. And then we're going to go ahead and we'll just check down. I don't think it will. Oh, and there you go. Now you can see what the batteries look like when they're actually on. As you noticed, when you come to the plane cold and dark, you can't tell if they're off or not because there's no power. We'll click the external power, which is right here. And it'll basically light up your Christmas tree here, flash your fire handles, and power your aircraft up. So with that, we'll move on to cockpit preparation, and then we're going to pre-flight the flight real quick, down and dirty, nothing too in-depth. So basically, the cockpit prep is making sure the overhead lights are on. Well, I'm also going to turn on the nav lights outside and the emergency lights. And looking at my lights here, they look good here. I'll go ahead and turn my PFD up a little. And my ECAM and lower cam display. And everything else looks good. Okay, so cockpit prep, power up, and preliminary are all set. So what we're going to do is move over into the pre-flight here real quick. And for that, we need Sim Toolkit. And that's over here on the screen now. Basically, I hit the wrong button. Sorry, folks. There we go. All right, so what you're seeing here is part of the route. Basically, the meat and potatoes that we're going to put in there. Because here's KPT, here's DJL. In between that, folks, is a couple of airways and fixes that get us to our arrival and then our departure right here. So I'm going to zoom down. And as you can see, the weather hopefully isn't tricking me, because what I wrote down about 20 minutes ago still applies. Okay, good. Well, pretty close. Let's put it that way. Current weather. Here, let me fire that out to you. That's the asterisk METAR, capital letters, LOWI. There you go. So now you all can see it as well. It's variable at 5. Looks like unlimited visibility the way I read it. Few clouds at 600, 6,000, 8,000 a scattered deck, and there's no significant weather here. 17 degrees Celsius outside, 4 degrees Celsius on the dew point. So, and then 1010 on the QNH. So, and you can see that as well here on Sim Toolkit here. Go ahead and get rid of that. Here's our basics. We're at runway 8. We're at an elevation of 1,907 feet, and it's on a heading of 078. Trying to think if there's anything else. Let's go ahead and turn over to the load sheet. And what we're going to be flying out of here with, we've got 150 passengers scheduled, plus I think it was 400 pounds of cargo to bring us up to 13,000 kilograms. Oh, excuse me. Let me rephrase that. 400 kilograms. That's a big difference than 400 pounds. It's actually about 800 pounds of cargo. But anyway, we're going to have 13,000 kilograms overall weight, zero fuel weight, you can see here. Now, our CI for today, look at it this way. It gets kind of confusing. It's 21. And basically your cost index takes into effect your wins, do you want to save fuel, do you want to burn fuel, do you want to get there fast, do you want to get there a little slower and save money. It all goes into bringing this number together. So in this case, SimBrief said 21 is going to be our number. And for that, it puts our fuel they're going to uplift into us at 6,812 kilograms. Now, for our reserve, we're going to be we're looking at, well, let me do it the other way. Let me pull up the actual flight plan. So here's our flight plan. Total distance is 482 miles. This reads out the cost index a heck of a lot better, 21. Our average winds you can read here are 280, it's 37, and we're going to be climbing to 34,000 feet. Again, there's our zero fuel weight of 55,842 kilograms. And then this is a little bit of information about the aircraft. Tail numbers Golf Echo Zulu Whiskey Alpha. We're flying for EZ on the Millennium Aviation virtual airline. It is an A320-200 with the CFM 56 engines. Okay, and this will break down our fuel a little more. When we get to the reserve portion of the McDew, we'll put 2.9 in for our reserve. That'll get us 45 minutes on the ground at Brussels plus our en route time there. And then we'll just come down a little further. Here's our estimates of 1 hour 41 minutes, but we're scheduled at 1 hour 45. Hopefully we're able to get in early, like it's saying. And then our passengers and cargo. So that rounds it out. So there you go, folks. Our pre-flight brief is complete. And just giving you an idea, a prelude to what our departure's like. We'll fly out, do a button hook back, and come back up to KPT. Then, like I said, it's a couple airways over to the initial for the Star that takes us into Orly. Now, by the way, this flight, sorry about that, folks. This flight was suggested by one of the followers, Jay Drums. He suggested this in a worldwide tour. We kind of deviated slightly. His ideas were Gatwick to Orly. Well, we also encompassed a couple of challenging approaches. Down to Madeira for the crosswinds that come into both there and Gibraltar. And this little sucker here, Innsbruck. If you read the charts right, piece of cake. If you're like me and you hurried through them, you're going to run into troubles like I did. So, but anyways, you can see some brief is showing some rain to the south in the Alps. Right now, we are told on the METAR no significant weather. So, let's go ahead and move SimBrief out of here, and we're going to get back into the rhythm of setting this plane up for departure. And for that, we're going to go to the EFB. Now I'm satisfied with it. Okay, I just wanted to set that. Okay, let me see if I can brighten it up a little for you. Again, we have the ground power units on, and we're chalked. Don't believe me? There you go. Chocks, there's your ground power unit. Now, over there, we'll just, instead of saying, over there you'll see the loaders for the baggage, and then our stairs set up to get people on the plane. Okay, moving over to fuel, let's go ahead and call the truck. And again, we are putting on 6,812 kilograms. Okay, so we've called. Okay, and oh, I had a feeling I hit the wrong button. 6812 set. Okay, let's move over to the packs. We're putting on 150 passengers, so we'll set. It doesn't fill this one up. I'm set actually for a maximum of 180. And there's our 400. And make sure. And then we'll also come over here. 55,842. That's our zero fuel. There's our fuel. And there's our ZG. And looks like we're going to be up 0.5 on our trim. And as you can see, it loads out pretty well on the envelopes here. Okay, let's, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and see if it'll let me do this. There we go. And Just waiting on the flight plan. There we go. We got charts loaded up here, and the flight plan will be right here. Just some things, and then here's the weather radar. Kind of gives you even a better idea. So you can see that little bit of rain to our south. Let me make sure it's centered. Plus there was a more significant line further south over Italy. That is why I think we have the pretty good weather. That's kind of blocking anything from coming up. That's just my wannabe weatherman forecasting. Can't be much worse than the ones you see on TV. Okay. All right. So we've got the EFB now loaded. We'll go back, run through it. Okay, 400, we're set. Passengers, we're set. Fuel, we're set. So, going by the checklist, aircraft loading, EFB, fuel's loaded, passengers set. Now we can remove all the vehicles. We're going to go ahead and remove the fuel truck. And we'll go ahead and get rid of the baggage guys. We're going to keep the loaders, the ladders up to us so that in case of an emergency, there's a egress path for them. And we'll get rid of that here when we're ready to push back. All right. Actually, I am going to lower this a little. What I'm trying to do is minimize clicking in here to open this window because for the love of God, I can't get it closed. All right. Okay, so we're going to press on to the APU start. Okay, up to the panel we go. First thing we've got here is a fire check. It lights up here. Now, if this was working like I'd like, we should get some red lights here or in here, and then of course over to the side here the master cautions should be on. So back up top. Now we're going to click, actually I'm going to do it from this one because we're going to be working between two panels. So we're going to click the master start to on. Now if you rush, you miss. What it's doing right now is a test of the system, make sure everything's good, quantities and everything. And you're going to get a flap open. That'll let you know, flap open. Once you get flap open, come up here and start. Come back down and you can actually watch it start up. And then once it starts, we'll already be on the APU gen. You'll see all of the voltage come on here with the generator. And then all we'll have to do is click the APU bleed. We can decide, are we going to leave the ground power hooked up or are we going to disconnect? Okay, and now we have APU available here as well as here. So we're good on the APU. Now the bleed is located here. I'm going to go ahead and leave the generator hooked up for now. And I am going to go ahead and move into the overhead panel checks. So bear with me here as I reset my checklist. Okay, so the checklist I'm using is basically if you do a search for FFA320 checklists, look for version 1.4 PDF. That's the one I'm using. Okay, so let's kind of go up this one. We'll turn that. There are a couple checks here that we're not able to do that aren't modeled, but the big thing here are these ADIRs. These ADIRs are IRS. I don't know what AD stands for, but it's the inertial reference system that Boeing has, but they call them ADIRs here. So we go to nav. We're going to get a line, and we're looking for on bat. There it is. Once it goes out, I'll explain in just a second. I'll get the second one going here. Now, IRS number 2 is over all the way to the right. Same thing, and we're waiting for ONBAT. What ONBAT says is basically if for some reason in flight we lose all electrical power, the battery is still available to the it's still reading off your batteries, which is a good thing if you're, to keep you on course. And then finally number 3, same thing, and then we move on. But basically, while we're waiting, the flows go up the panel on Airbus. If you're in Boeing, they go down. So we'll be going up this one. We're just about to the top here. And I really don't know how to use these refuel panels, so you know what? We'll just do that. We don't see them. Gotta love the world of flight simming. Come down. Now, this checklist says put strobes in auto, so we're putting them in auto. Moving up, we're going to just kind of look. Hang on a second, I always get thrown off here. I'm going to go ahead and turn on our fuel pumps. Because basically if it says off, more than likely we need to turn it on. This fault light will go out when they're aligned. And then we've got 2 fire checks to do here. Well, we're going to go ahead and do them right now. Okay, fire checks were good. Coming back down. That's kind of weird how they do this thing. Okay, I'm going to keep the seatbelts in auto for the time being. Emergency lights are on. Fuel pumps are on. Engine test, radio 3. We're going to come up this way and we see, oh, we want to make sure the heat's on. And we'll put that to 12 o'clock. Meanwhile, we're going to pull back on the cockpit, push up on the cabin. I know many of the ladies out there, when they fly on these airliners, are like, oh, it's so cold. It's so cold. I gave you 2 notches on it, okay? Bring you up to about 75 degrees. Sorry, don't mean to make fun. I just find it funny. Now I'm the one going, oh, it's so cold. And I don't know why. I've usually never been that way. But that finishes, folks, the overhead panel. So now, let's move down to the center panel and pedestal. And stand by. Our mailbox, if you all didn't know, got plastered last week by a distracted driver. And I'm going to go get our mail when he comes back. Okay, he's going the other way. All right, so we want to make sure the anti-skid and nose wheel steering are both on. That's this switch here. Now, Boeing guys, get a good chance to chuckle. Airbus guys, shake your head. The checklist actually says FMC's on. Folks, they're called McDews in the Airbus. I get a good chuckle out of that, being a Boeing guy myself. They are on. Radios. Now they're going to be a little further down. We need to get these set up. Okay, so we're on POSCON. First thing I'm going to do, wait a minute. You know what? I did not do it. I thought I did. We are going to go and get our information coming. I thought I did. I totally got distracted onto something else. LOVV. Okay, so let me get that going. I try to always have this ready, folks. And MAC0572, and you're going to hear some noise in the background, and in a second a ding dong or ding or something like that. No, not the ding dong behind the stick here. And don't take that the way that could be taken, folks. And that's just basically saying they received that we're alive. Okay, we're going to be waiting for another bell. That'll let us know we have a squawk. However, we can program our frequencies. The common traffic here for Innsbruck, let me first make sure we're on common traffic. Oh, That's always good when your map is on the wrong one. Where am I? There I am. Is up. They're not up. So we'll zoom in. There. That'll help us out. Okay, so yeah, we don't have ATC. So in that event, we go to common traffic frequencies. 120.100 is that frequency here. And then airborne, if I remember, and I never do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's Innsbruck, that's airborne. Over here, we're going to set the other Unicom channel up. Whoop, missed a number, but we'll fix it. And the other guard channel that POSCON wants us to monitor, which is 121.500. And basically it's so that ATC can go, yo, talk to me. Now, one important thing with all flight factor aircraft, especially this one. I haven't noticed it yet with the 767 when I've flown it, but for this one you have to. Make sure your microphone is turned on. Click on it, you get a green light above. That tells you it's on. Flight factor, you got to do something with the knob so that you're able to, I think, to hear is what it is. I haven't figured that one out fully yet, but we'll have a chance here in a minute. While we wait on the squawk, down here in the squawk, in the transponder, we'll put 2000 for now. And the reason I do that is that's the no ATC, you know, Unicom based, not Unicom, but general IFR frequency. And that, folks, and we'll move TCAS to standby, which we are already. Okay, and that sets us up, folks, for the McDew. So we finished the main panel, the overhead, the APU start, the aircraft's loaded, and all the preparations are complete. So let's move on to setting up the McDews. And that, again, as this checklist said, FMCs, that's what these two are. So we're going to punch up back to here, tilt it just slightly, but we're going to be pushing it out. Okay, first thing we do is make sure we got the right aircraft with the right engines and that our AirNAC is up to date. Okay, from there we go to the initialization page and we're going to type in our departure point, LOWI, put a slash in, and our arrival point, LFPO. Okay, we don't have a route pre-filed, so we will come over. We're going to run with Mac 00572. Cost index was 21. Let me verify. Yes, it was. And I think we stated 34,000. Got that written down here too. Yep. Okay, and we'll just take the standard temperature. I don't know what it is. Now, what we do have to do here is align the IRS. Align on reference. Confirm. Fire away. And she is now in what's called GPS primary lost. When it's complete, it'll say GPS primary. I think that's it, but it may have more. So now we click return. Puts us back on this page. We deviate slightly from this page. Actually, I'm going to do two things from here. I'm going to come back over to here. Click perf. Click set. And what it's going to do is take these numbers, punch it into here so we can get it going. Alright, so over to here. Alright, so we're going to go to F plan and set up our flight plan. Then we'll come back, do our weights, do our preferences, and finish it up that route. it to me is out of sync for me to not have my flight in first. So first thing we do is we go to LOWI and select our departure. And there it is, GPS primary. So now we're aligned. I'm going to just catch the other one real quick. Okay, come back up. Now the departure, runway 8, KPT 5J. And I'm going to make it temporary. And then we're going to go ahead and insert. So if I screw up from here on, this is at least in. So from here, let me bring up the flight plan on another screen so it's easy for me to punch it in here. So from KPT, we're going to I don't think I can do that. Okay. Oh, okay, hang on. Erase. So I don't want to do that right off the bat. Okay. Well, hell's bells. Hang on a second. There's KPT. Hang on, let me go out to Rnav. Here, let me just do it this way. All right. That's what I get for rushing. Okay, well, that's not working out. So let's try RAVED. What the heck? Okay, hang on. I think I'm doing this wrong. Aha! I was just clicking the wrong side. Okay, sorry for that, folks. Man, that was horrible of me. It's been a few days since I've flown this plane. I've been flying the 767, and yeah, it's starting to show that I'm needing to come back to this plane. And we're going to AKABI. Whoop. Boom. Okay. Next on the hit parade. UZ613. And that closes at Hawk. Finally, where are we at? Hawk Airways. UL 856. And that closes at DJL. Okay. Now, that gets us to our arrival point. And now we go here. Arrival. Oh, wait a minute. Is it DLJ9 Echo? Hang on a second. Now I'm going to have to check something here. Mol 6E. I hate these. Oh, the French make this so. Oh, there it is. Okay, MOLBA 6E. Sometimes they make things too hard. Okay. All right. What we're going to do now. We got that in here. Let's pop that out. Actually, there we go. And we're going to just kind of scroll through. You can see we're doing what I told you was that button hook to come out. So up. Guess what I forgot? Plan. There we go. Let's try this again. There we go. Now let's just step through it. All right, hang on a second. Okay. For some reason I didn't remember seeing a jug down there towards TRA. Okay, so there's DJ. There we go. And also what we're looking for here, folks, are any discontinuities. And we're at one. Kind of curious. So for now, we'll keep. Well, no, I don't really want to. But that's what it tells us to do. We're a long way away. Okay, well, we'll run with that. Wonder if it'll let me run with it for now until I get closer. Well, any of you out there that fly real buses or are very fluent with the Airbus, let me know if they would go with a discontinuity like that until they got there. It may not let me. We'll find out. It may balk at me pretty hard, but we'll see. Well, we've got the plane. Actually, you know what? I am just going to play it's not allowed. It's still calling config 3. Okay. 47 and yeah, we're going to go config 3. So we're going to go with their data. All right. And yeah. So we're going to go config 3. So let's come back over here. Transition altitude. 5,000. Let me check the SID. Oh wait, I'm on the wrong one. Sorry folks, I'm in London or Paris. 10,000, okay. So transition's correct. Flaps 3 / up 2. Verifying all my data. Flex. Okay, engine out. Now I've got another website for that. $34.10, $49.10. Oh. Okay, engine out. 5,600. Okay, so we're going to run 123. One, 2, 6, and 130. Oh, not 130. No. Okay, there we go, folks. So for the takeoff here, we are going to do V1, 123, rotate 126, V2, 130. We're going to be flaps 3, we're going to trim up 0.2, and we're going to flex at 47. Transition is 10,000. With these figures in on this runway, which is 6,562 feet long, we're going to use all but 32 feet. We'll see if that's right. All right, folks, that wraps us up. All we have left to do is get the flight control unit up to date here. And to do that, we just get the correct QNH in here. And let me do that right away. And that correct one is 1010. Nice is it's going to set them both. 1010. Okay, then we go to the FDs. Both are lit up. Nav range, make sure they're both in arc and at 20. CSTR or constraints are on both. Auto throttle's on, and we set our altitude. $34. Okay, folks, and we are now to the point where we're ready to push back. And a little longer winded than I wanted to be on this opening at 1 hour to get to this point, but we got hung up in a couple areas, so I do apologize. All right, so let's get into the push. Here, let's do our departure brief real quick. That way I get myself orientated right. Okay, and to do that, let's bring up Sim Toolkit. Okay. Okay, Sim Toolkit's up, and what we're going to do is really down and dirty. Where are you? There you are. So here's our load sheet again. More importantly, what we're going to want to focus on is we're on runway 8. It's 1,907 feet. It's on a heading of 78 degrees. It's only 6,562 feet long. 2 short field takeoffs here of late. All right. Let's hope for the best down here. We did not. Hang on just a second while I get signed in again. It's just been a pain in the rear. Oh, if I could spell Yahoo. Let me make sure. All right, and signing in. There we go. Okay. So it didn't want to load my flight. That's okay. We'll go that route. All right. So here we are, folks, at LOWI Airport. I did program it wrong. Dang it. So we need to go this direction, do our turnaround, and come back. So I got to fix that. So we're going to be pushing back facing west, and then we'll take off going east. Departure. Okay, our initial departure. Meteorological minimums have to be at least 1,300 feet. We're pretty much KVOC today. Ground visibility at least 1,500 meters. Flight visibility during the visual operation. Cat A, Cat B, 3 kilometers. Cat C, special performance. RVR at least 150M. Okay, that's the big thing. Maximum 154, bank angle at least 25 passing in, 250 up to 11,000. Initial climbs by ATC, and our routing is we're going to climb on runway heading. Hang on a second. Well, this is for runway 8. So runway heading, maximum climb. Intercept OEJ localizer at 7.5 and rum to the 4.3. We'll turn right, intercept 245. Bearing to N, and then once we cross in, intercept the 143 to KPT. Granted, we're going to go to MOGT, then up. We are in a, as you can tell, we'll look outside again, a very tight area, so we've got to be on our toes. We'll contact Innsbruck radar when advised. 10,000 feet to transition. High mountains surround the aerodrome. 11.6, 14, minimum safe looks like 11.6 in our area. Okay, so basically the big takeaway is maximum climb gradient on this whole departure. So we need to change our pushback, which we'll do right now. Well, I say that, let's do that first. Okay, so let's change the, so we're going to change the pushback. We'll go here, better pushback. Okay. Hopefully this works. If not, we'll turn in spot.
On to cockpit. Land acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you're ready.
We're ready.
On to cockpit. Toes driving up.
And I'm just right now going to see if POSCON sent anything to us, and they have not. All right, folks, so while we're waiting on him to do his job, we're going to switch to TA. Auto. Hang on a second, let me zoom down. I want to make sure, I want to go to above. Okay, so there we go, and we're going to keep the radar off. And we're ready to go as soon as he is. Okay, so ACARS is running. Making a check here. Okay. Live map, we're still the only one here. And
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect. Set parking brake.
Alright, so he's ready. Oh, you know what? We need to pull chocks.
Now connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake. Starting pushback, and you may start the engines.
Okay, beacons. Tow vehicle, we're going to go ahead and start up. Alright, to do this, we're going to look down, move the start selector to start, and then we start up 2, then 1. 2 is started. You can tell it's moving right here, the gray box. There'll be an avail up here when it's completely spooled up. Alright, he got the right turn. The big difference between Airbus and Boeing is you got to do some things. Airbus is almost automatic. Okay, we're just about pushed. Engine 1's up, and now do you see the avail right above the finger there? No, not that finger. And that means we can start the other engine.
Operation complete. Please set parking brake. Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Okay, we'll go ahead and start up number 1 while he's doing that. And then he'll drive away, and we'll be making sure to see the pin before we go on with the before taxi. But once we get the avail on number 1, it's a pretty simple. From there, shut the APU down. Okay, let's just make sure we spool up okay. I'm gonna go ahead. Okay, let him disconnect. Go ahead and disconnect tow. Okay, and we got a good avail. Alright, so we're just waiting on him. Now we can finish the start checklist, which is move the start selector to norm. Now you get a good look at it. Norm is 12
Tow is
o'clock.
disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. I'll see you next time. Have a safe flight.
Okay, we'll get the APU. Okay, now it calls for the APU bleed to come off first. Then the APU itself. Make sure packs 1 and 2 are on, and they are. And then turn the APU off. Okay, let's see if he's over here. I got... Okay, we got the pin. And we just acknowledged with the aircraft. Okay, so we can now continue on. So what we'll do from here, brake fans. Now they are located right next to your 3 gear indicators. They're on. Auto brake, right below it, we're going to set to max. That's for rejected takeoff. Weather radar, we're going to keep it off until the end of the runway. Spoilers, let's get those armed. Just click on it. Okay, click and raise. You want the white to show. Flaps, we're going all the way to 3. Because it says flaps 3. Trim 0.02. Oh, went too far. Okay. And parking brake can go off and we'll taxi. Stand by. We have one more check I like to do. And we're going to come up here. We're going to check our surfaces. Now, real quick, something I learned that was gee whiz, but all of these BGs, GBY, so forth, folks, those relate to your hydraulics. Let me pull up the hydraulic page and you'll see what I mean. Okay, green, blue, yellow, first letters. It was interesting. It just lets you know what's attached to what. So anyway, we'll do a quick left. Okay. Right. Left. Right. Let's check the elevator. Okay. And then the rudder. Okay, that's a good check there. And then we're going to go back. Eventually to our normal page. Okay, so now we can turn on our lights and get ready for taxi. There's our normal screen. And wing lights can come on, nose light. Okay, here we go, folks. Okay. Get a nice look at the plane on that angle, and that way you can see the high terrain around us, folks. Now that's where we're gonna be going out the other way to turn, and that's the notch we're gonna be flying out of to get onto our destination. Okay, so as we taxi out, we're going to do the takeoff check. That's what we're doing here, folks, to make sure everything's readied. Cabin's ready, takeoff's ready, flaps are set for takeoff, and strobes will go on. We're going to turn them on when we go on the runway. Now what he said, to line this up properly, just on the inside of the bar between the nav display and the PFD, this area right here, if you keep it there, you're pretty much right on the center line, which is weird because I thought it was Innsbruck traffic, Mac Air 572, departing runway 8, KPT 5 Juliet departure. Okay. Real quick at the runway, landing lights, nose lights, and we're going to go. Okay, so we'll put takeoff. We're going to go on. Oh, I hate this. One thing I hate about X-Plane. Okay, and transponder.
Approaching 08.
Get a good look there at the engines. Okay, now we got a back taxi. Okay. Nice and easy, folks. Okay. And since we're only going to have 32 feet of runway remaining, I want every ounce of this runway.
On runway 08. On runway 08.
Okay, hopefully we won't get a bounce like I think I see us getting ready to hit. All right, so we're on the runway. Those lights, make sure our lights are all on. Okay. Packs are on. TARA. Let me make sure. Okay. All right, folks. We're cleared for takeoff, so we're going to go to 50%. Stable. Airspeed alive. 80 knots. There's 100.
V1, rotate, V2.
And gear up. for this departure, we're going to go ahead and get the autopilot on. Okay, packs on, throttle lever to climb.
Gear up.
See. And let's get outside the plane. There's that maximum gradient climb, folks, I guess. Wow. Beautiful scenery, though, from X-Plane. Hope you're enjoying it. All right, so just making sure the stream is going well. You ever get that feeling when you're on a stream? My mic, did I forget to turn it on at the beginning of this hour and 22-minute ordeal? For you, it's an ordeal. For me, I'm like, oh God, no, I actually had it on. All right, so here we go into the turn. First turn. You can see what they meant by high terrain. I'm going to go ahead and put us in climb. Okay, first notch coming up. And yeah, we're holding with flaps 2 as we get around this curve, mainly because I'm a little nervous we're not high enough. I think we are now. Holy mackerel. Whew. Fun flying. I guess that's what you call fun flying.
$10,000 feet.
Terrain.
Now I'm going to go ahead and turn on the radar. I think I'm going to have to do it from here. Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead now with the after takeoff. We're above 10,000 feet, so we're going to turn all the lights off. Okay. Nose gear flaps are, I believe, up now. And we're up to speed. All right. Now, continuing on, runway lights are off, anti-ice, we don't need baro is at standard. That's what you get for trying to say two things at once. All right, folks, so we're on our way. We've hit transition as well. So let's get down here and de-arm the spoilers. All right, so we're on our way, folks. Nice departure, little nail biter, but again, it's just because I'm not used to flying out here. But yeah, flying through the Alps over to Paris Orly. Phew. Thank goodness, Otto over there, you fly pretty good. All right, for those of you joining the stream, we do thank you and hope you enjoy what you're seeing here. We're not in a 172, we're in the bus. And kicking out of the Alps here, pushing through about 15,000 feet on our way up to 34,000 feet on POSCON. Hope you all enjoy the stream. If you do, click follow. We sure would appreciate it. Lets us know we're doing a pretty good job. If you're willing to follow us, it'll give you an email notification on our next live stream. So for now, we're going to kind of sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight over to Paris Orly. Alright, sorry for that, folks. Thought I heard the mailman, and I'm trying to meet him since our mailbox has been destroyed, in case he goes on vacation. But we are level now at 34. Excuse me there, folks. Did not mean to cough in your ears like that. With that, we'll turn the seatbelt sign to auto. And cabin temperatures. Well, actually, what we're going to do is do our check. Our first of a couple here. So, let me kind of zoom out just a tad. Here we go. And pull that out. All right, we're just going to go through each of the buttons here. So this is cruise. Now in engine, actually we can click all. Bleed. Let's go back to engine. And basically it tells you the information about your engines, the oil, the PSI, the vibrations, and the fuel that's been used in kilograms. Clicking next will put us on, or all will put us on the bleeds. And we're just making sure everything is in the green there. Same with the cabin pressures. Electrically, this just kind of lets you see how the flow is working. Everything's green, that's what we want to see. Hydraulics, all in the green. Fuel. Okay, let's head up top and we need to burn hope I didn't screw up here, hang on. I'll be right back, folks. My apologies, folks. Alright. And we didn't screw up like I was afraid of. Okay, yeah, I accidentally turned these off before the crossfeed. We'll turn these back on, then turn off the crossfeed when we're to where we want to be. Let's come down, finish up. So let's go to the all button. We'll put us on the APU. There isn't going to be anything to see there because the APU's off. Cabin, there's your cabin temperatures, 25 degrees, 23 in the cockpit. We're really concerned with that we have 1610 psi up here. That's our bottles in case we have to go on oxygen to get down, an emergency descent. Here's our wheels, the gear doors. There's a different name for them. They're in up position. There's our surfaces, and then we're back to engines. And we'll just sit here for just a moment, get the fuel balanced out. Okay, a little more to go. And basically, we're not transferring from one side to the other with this. What we're doing is using the number 2 engine, which is our right side of the aircraft. Remember, it says the pilot looks out the window. We're using those fuel pumps or fuel through the pipe to go into the engines on the other side to help burn it down quicker. Now, we're going to go on, close. See, they came on, it's closed, and now we're balanced. Hope I did a good job explaining that, folks. I'm not a real Airbus pilot. I only play one on TV. Okay, on stream. But anyway. I needed that hot coffee. But anyway, that just gives you an idea what we have going on down here. And by just simply clicking fuel, that'll put us back to our cruise page. Now, I do want to also, while we're here, not that page, progress. And over here, we'll put it on perf. And let's flip it around. Let's go perf here, progress there. Yeah. So you can see we're in cruise. We're managed 139 miles to top of descent. So what we're going to do now is go right into the arrival brief. And if I do this right, put the McDew here. Sim toolkit there. Let's see how that translates out. Okay. All right, so we got Sim Toolkit up here. Well, like I said, we're going to be doing our arrival brief into ORLY. And again, we're looking right at it. but some preliminary information about the airport would be nice. Stand by. Actually, we're going to get it from the charts as we go through. Okay, so real quick, as we look at Sim Toolkit here, we're going to be coming in on the DJL 9 Echo arrival, and basically you can see the routing here up to Molba. And for 9 Echo, I kind of zoomed in for a moment. You'll see how we track to Tuner, over to Okrix, and then up to Molba. You can already see some things we're going to have to pay attention for. Okay, this is a Jepson chart from 2 October 20, page 10-2 Bravo, when effective in October of last year. It's an Rnav star, so let's kind of zoom in. Our ATIS for ORLY is 131.355. Oh, wait a minute. Stand by. I'm going to switch things around in here real quick because I forgot. There we go. And trying to get better at this, folks, on POSCON. Okay, so we're on the right frequency. Sorry about that. Okay, so got us on the right frequency. Okay, so airport elevation at Paris Orly is 291 feet. And again, we're on the Dijon 9 Echo, DJL 9 Echo. Okay, so Oryx, which is right here. That's for the hold. Routing, DJL to Alero to Tunor to Oryx to Iboma to Molba. No restrictions. So looking at it, the only restrictions we have is Alero, we have to be under 27,000. Oryx, max speed of 280 and under 18,000. Ebama, maximum speed 250. So that's something we're going to pay attention to, and below 12,000. The where we end up at a hard altitude of 10,000 at Molba. Okay, so that's the initial arrival into Orly. Now, from Molba, we have an intermediate transition to our ILS approach. Sorry, folks. There we go. And here it is. It's the Molba 6 Echo. And all it is just a couple of fixes to help get us worked into the localizer for that. Paris is like the Northeast Corridor, very, very busy. So let's go back here. The reason I brought the FMC up, I'm not using it, and I meant to use it. Okay, so let's get these two. Well, I'm not going to be able to do it side by side. So we're looking for DJL. Okay, it looks like we start our top of descent about 5 miles from there. Okay, so let me just bring this up. And we're going to just kind of step it through. So DJL, Alero, and again, 27,000, we got to be below. Tuner, Oryx, below 18, looks like that'll happen. And 280 knots. Okay. And then finaling this out to Molba, there's Iboma, 250 at 12,000 or below. There's Molba at 10,000. Okay, let me scoot up here. Now, oh, where are you? All right, so from Molba, we then go to our intermediate, or as they call it, Rnav initial approach. So transition level is set by ETC. I'll give you a heads up, I believe it's 5,000 feet. We've got an Rnav that's required G or GNS DMEs, VOR DME required. Again, this is for the final approach course. You'll have to see those charts. Okay, coming down, let's see here. For runway 6 at Molba, we need to descend to 3,000. By MLN, we need to be at or above flight level 7,000. Then down to 3,000. At distance 20 MLN, turn right, intercept the final approach course. Oh wait, I'm reading runway 2. Let's do this right. Molba to, again, same thing, to 4,000, MLN at or above 7,000. Then we're going to turn right. Hang on. Trying to make sense of this. But basically, as we look at it here, we're going to get to MLN at or above 7,000. We're going to fly out to the 33 DME on 272's heading. And at that point, we're going to turn for the final approach to runway 6 and proceed in. And as you can see, we've got that set up here. Molba, MLN at or above, we should be at 8. And then we're going to proceed outbound. Now, the kicker here is I have this discontinuity. See how that works. So we're going to then come to the ILS. This is why I went straight into it, folks. You got your frequencies across the top for the ILS runway 6. Our runway is 108.5 for the localizer. Final approach is 61 degrees. And at distance 11.3 for ORE, that is the localizer. Way out here, we need to be at 4,000 and or on glide path. So when we're coming in, remember it told us to descend to 4,000. So we're going to be at 4,000 off of MLN. Once we swing around to come in, we're going to probably be at about 14.3 DME or somewhere in between. We're going to be at 4,000, but when we cross this point, we have to be either on the glide path or at 4,000. Continuing in, ILSDA is 483, which is 200 feet above ground level. And again, we're 291 feet above sea level. Now, if we have to go missed approach, climb straight ahead to 2,000, then as directed. It's pretty straightforward. 5,000 feet is our transition altitude. And here's a picture of our arrival and glide path. Okay. All right, and then finally, we're going to be expecting high ALS 2s for our arrival. Real and Pappies. Pappies will be on the left-hand side if everything's modeled as it should be. Minimums 483 on the ILS, RVR 50 or 550. That, folks, is most of the arrival brief. Once we're on the ground on runway 6, we're either coming off at Whiskey 64, Whiskey 44, or Whiskey 43. And then we're going to taxi into this area here for our parking. ORLY 2 is where I think I'm going to try and go. And here's the parking stands. We'll probably hit one of these along in here, just maybe even over here. I don't know. We'll kind of see where we end up. I'm not even really sure if Easy even comes in here. I just chose it as the airline. So now let's get over to Close this up. Okay, let's kind of zoom out. You can kind of see where we are here. Remember, DJL, there's the top of descent, is supposedly pretty close to there. All right, now where are we? Let's real quick get ourselves caught up. $63 miles out. So we're going to let this work its way in. At about 40, we're going to begin our top of descent checklist. So we'll sit back, let this song run through, probably kill the music, and then bring it in. If not, if it gets too close to, if we get into where we're closer to 20, I may kill the song midstream. Sorry. So, but folks, we're just about there. Let me get SimBrief out of here and let y'all see. Okay. Oh. So there you see 54 miles, and F-Plan has us at 224 miles away from the airport. So in about 10 or 15 miles, folks, we're going to begin our descent. One last time through the lower ACAM here. Okay, and everything's looking green so far. Fuel's still looking balanced. APU's off. All right, folks. We'll see you in just a few miles here, and we'll begin setting up for our top of descent. No more than 20 miles out. And what we're doing, we're just trying to see if we can get a better view of that engine. Oh, yeah, we actually did. Alright, so let's see where we are. We should be real close. Alright, so we're at 30. So let's do this. Go to the next phase. Next phase. Okay, so we're going to get an up-to-date METAR here. Alright, so we're looking at, you all can see it as well, 1011. Temperature 11. And our winds currently 040 at 12. Don't worry about gusts. Okay, transition is 5,000. Now the MDA, bear with me. Okay, we'll go with 483. Okay, we've got that set up. And now we're going to set 10,000. How far out are we? 18 miles. Okay, so we'll let it drift a little more. And then we're going to go into a managed descent. We do not move the throttles. I wonder if I can show that off any. Okay, as you can, let me try it. We'll try and see. As you can see, there's these different settings on an Airbus throttle quadrant. This is idle. This part's free for when you're taxiing or what. Climb, which is what we're in. Maximum, flex, toga. So that, and they're just notches. So when you throttle up on a runway, you just move them up to 50% and then hit your button. So you just go straight to flex, and the electric engine controls take care of easing the engine up. You don't have to do that on the throttle, folks. And if you heard that noise, that was my coffee mug hitting the mic. Sorry about that. All right, so we're now 10 miles out. So what we're going to do is go ahead and initiate. I believe it's the down arrow. And it'll say managed. Okay. Only thing I don't like, I don't see the dot. And basically the reason the dot's going up is our actual top of descent was, I think, right there or somewhere in that block. So once we catch up to it, it'll flatten the descent. It'll steepen the descent up to where we're supposed to be. And let's go ahead and push some of these out. Okay, so we're now descending. Not a lot to do at this moment until we get closer to the fix Molba. And then from there, as you realize, 10,000 feet, we're going to be kicking it into the airport. So for now, I'm going to let another song roll, and we'll catch you a little closer in, but we are now in the descent. We're through 31,000 feet, well, 31.5, and making the turn at DJL. And again, our goal, eventually it will catch up to the dot. It'll be down in here. But for now, folks, we'll see you a little ways down the road. Okay, so just got myself, whoa, we're a little over, wait a minute. No, the one's covered up by the dot.
18,000 feet.
That is not our transition level, folks. We're heading for 5,000 for that, so we'll keep everything as is for now. Although I will look to see if there is anything that we do at 18, and there is not. So once we pass 10,000, that's when we start getting into the rest of the checklist here. And MLN, I think, is when I'm going to switch over to 122.95, so I can keep traffic there abreast of what we're doing. I'm going to go ahead and eke out one more song. Okay, now the next fix up, which is about 9 miles ahead of us, Eboma, is 250 knots. So we'll be making sure we slow to that. Guess is that magenta dot is our decel for that. And I really hope I didn't cough in your ears there, folks. I do apologize if I did. Alright, so we are now pretty much in the Paris area. We're about 50 miles out. That's what that ghosting was about. It's an automatic pause at top of descent like you all are used to. Well, with Mac Air, we can pause it however many miles out we are. So, some do it at 300 miles for the arrival briefs when we're streaming. Sometimes I'll set it. Sometimes I won't set it. Sometimes I set it and thought I didn't set it. Yeah, anyway, you get the drift. I try not to have it running with us. Alright, we've slowed to 250. We've crossed Ibama. And we're at 11.6, heading for 10,000. Again, let me just revisit the chart here real quick. Hang on a second, I'm signing in. And there we go. And now from Mola, we fly 313 degrees to the Mike Lima November VOR. And then make a left-hand turn to heading 270. Follow that out till we're ready to intercept the ILS. Key here is to cross at or above 7,000. Oh, and that's all lost comms. So we'll descend here shortly after to make our 4,000 foot
10,000 feet.
restriction by our initial fix for ILS. Okay, we've leveled off. We're at 250. Let's do our 10,000 foot check, shall we? Now we can't set our altimeter yet. We're still 5,000 above, but we can continue on. We don't have a need for anti-ice. We're gonna step. I'm sorry, I just moved the nav lights. Sorry, we don't need to. The difference between nav1 logo and nav2 logo, there is really no difference. All it is just a different light bulb in the wingtip. And it's just there so in case you do a pre-flight, oh, the light bulb's out. Hey, Johnny, switch it up to nav the other one. And boom, it comes on, you're fine. Now, if that one doesn't come on, yo, maintenance. So, kind of a neat thing. Okay, so we're coming up to MLN. Go ahead and go into our descent. And we'll see how this discontinuity is going to work out. This got me a little bothered. Okay, Mike Lima November in 3 miles. We're through 8,900. It wouldn't surprise me if that green patch ahead of us is the airport. Really would. But I may be wrong. I don't, it's been a long time since I've flown into this airport. Nice turn. About to click approach after PG try it one more time. All right, after this song I think we will go ahead and go into a sterile cockpit. All right, so that's set. And let's pull that one up. Okay, we are now in the approach phase. There we go, 272. Let me see how far out that is. Okay. There's our airport, folks. There's our two fixes. Now, there was a way someone showed me how to draw a line out. I just can't remember. Okay, now we're coming up on the transition level, altitude, whichever one's correct for Paris. So we'll be switching into the current altimeter. Still 1011. Don't believe me? There you go. So we're looking at 030 at 12. That's kind of variable. KVOC 17 degrees and 1011. Now where that dotted line is, that's where I'm going to start, maybe start my turn. Okay, so we got seat belts, nose lights. Okay. Auto brake to medium. I'm good with that. Flaps will start setting and we'll turn the AP on if need be. I don't think we'll need it. Okay, we're going to go ahead and set transition. 1011. Let's look over. Good. All right. And let's see what happens if we bring it in. Okay, so good. Flight attendants, prepare for landing. All right, folks. Let's switch over here on POSCON. All right, sorry folks, you're not going to be able to look into the cockpit any longer. Okay, so I thought, I'm not worried about it. And yes, folks, like I said, we're headed to 80 degrees today here in St. Louis. Last week at this time, we were looking at a dusting of snow. Welcome to the United States Midwest. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do what I call come about for the ILS. And we should be getting... Okay. Little concerned we're not seeing that yet. Okay. And we've leveled at 4,000. Curious if we're going to actually see the ILS. Okay. Up we are. There's the localizer. Don't have any sign of a glide slope yet. That's okay. We'll do with the localizer. As long as it gets me on course, we're fine. And our DME we're worried about is 11.3. Okay. There's that. Alright, so we're 4 miles out. Let's go ahead and crank her down. Want to overspeed the system. Flaps 1. If y'all don't mind, flaps 2. Okay, and landing gear. We are on glide path. I don't think I see the runway yet, so we'll slow up to 160.
Gear down.
$129, 134. I think I finally see
2,500.
And of course we need to get our speed brakes armed. Okay. Brake fans on. Gear go around set 4,000, and we're good to go, folks. Let's get the final lights on. We're cleared to land. Orly approach. Mac Air 572. Final gear down, runway 6. Okay. One more notch. We're flaps full. This part I have a hard time with.
1,000.
Okay. Glide path, 1,000 feet, aircraft's mine. Okay.
Approaching 06.
Okay.
500.
Approaching runways. Approaching 06.
400. 300. 200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Hi folks, welcome to Orly. About a 500 foot a minute landing. Sorry, we'll take a look at that. I know where I screwed up. I let some things get in my way mentally, and that's what happened. And it's because I haven't flown this plane in a while. Alright, coming off here at this taxiway, which I believe is number 4. I don't remember the letters. Okay, landing lights off. Orly traffic, Mac Air 572 clear of runway 6. Whiskey 44 to the ramp. Okay. Okay, spoilers. Had a feeling we were getting close to the edge there. Okay, and APU. All right, what we'll do. Okay, so we got the APU available. Got my checklist ready for when we get into the blocks. Let's see what we have here for parking spots. Well, guess we'll take T31. All right, get into this block here. Whoa, easy girl, that's why. Alright, wow, I had to throttle up a little, that's why she was wanting to go. Alright folks, we are in the gate here at T31. Again, we landed with a 500 foot a minute landing. Nobody even guessed close to it, so including myself. Alright, so let's get some things shut off here. Hang on, did I miss a step? No, I did not, okay. Alright, so the parking brake set. Idled. Doors were not going to open until we get the engines turned off. Okay, we've got the APU. Let's make sure. Under power, we don't have the bleed on yet. Let's go ahead and turn that on. Okay, so the APU bleeds are on. Let's go. Okay, the engines are now off. All right, so external lights, beacons off, strobes off. Okay, fuel pumps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. ADIRs off. And we're up, folks. We are ready for, once the jetway's connected, to let my people go. Okay, so now we have the ground power available. Let's go ahead and come up here. All right, folks, we're running on ground electric and we're shut down. Folks, we want to thank you for flying with Mike. It's been a pleasure flying from Innsbruck over to Paris Orly. This is Jay Drum's flight that he requested, actually a bunch. Next one he has up is to Warsaw. We'll be doing that here shortly in a week or two. Oh, hang on a second. You know what I'm also going to do? Let's come off POSCON. All right, that way we're not causing troubles. All right, hang on, too far. All right. Let's give it a shot from there, folks. And we're going to go ahead and let you all know, so this is a review. Let you watch out one of the wings. As we bring her in. And again, remember, it was a 500 foot a minute arrival. So, but again, thanks for flying with Mike. And we're going to try and turn a second flight. So play on music. Alright folks, we're back in the stand. Alright, we're going to step outside, try and get a better shot than all this garbage around the plane. Alright, and that's a wrap for this flight, folks. Stay tuned. We are going to try this. We're going to switch aircraft and everything to a different route, different airline we're going to fly with, and see what we can do here. So again, thanks for flying with Mike out of Innsbruck. Beautiful run as expected, and we'll go from there and getting another flight set up. So for now, thank you for flying with Mike. God bless. Have a great day.